Welcome to the 60 Plus podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. How are you today, Janet?
I'm great.
You're great?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm really good.
Didn't fall down the stairs or anything?
I didn't fall down the stairs. I'm trying less to rush around.
Well, we're going to get to that in a
We
minute.
are
We
going to
are.
get to that in a big way.
I always ask, like, what are we talking about today, Janet? As if I didn't know.
I like the way you do that, though, because it gets me jump started into what we're talking about.
So, what are we talking about today, Janet?
We're doing a Mythbuster. We're talking about the myth that time flies as you get older.
For years, I've had a theory about why that is.
Well,
It's my own theory.
I mean, haven't you heard that though?
I
Like
have.
people have said older people when you were younger, they'd be like, enjoy your time because as you get older, it goes faster. Well, it doesn't really. That's the myth. Time does not go faster. It stays.
How we experience time,
Correct.
how we perceive the passage of time.
Yes.
And actually, how we experience time changes depending upon a number of things, but age is one of the things that it can be.
Yeah. I can
And
imagine.
in the show prep that we did for like the 5 minutes before we
Hey,
before we,
don't give away our secrets.
before we started
We
recording,
spent hours and hours
it just seemed like
understanding
hours, Janet.
the concept of time
Well,
and time relativity.
all right. So back in the 1960s, a pioneering brain researcher, Robert Ornstein, revealed that time passes more slowly when we process a greater amount of information.
Really?
Now, this was surprising to me. I always thought it was the opposite.
Well, in how so though? Because this is counterintuitive to what I'm reading about how to slow down time.
One of the things I came across was if you're in a car accident, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
your brain is processing a lot of information and it
Oh,
seems to go very slowly because your
no.
brain is
Oh,
processing more
trust
information.
me, I know all about that because I almost died in a car accident 4 times in a row. I think it was 4, maybe even 5 if I do the counting. In the span of, it had to been like maybe 15 seconds, 20 seconds, no more than 30 seconds, honestly. And it was like this series of, oh no, I'm going to die this
And
way.
you
Oh
remember
no.
every detail.
Every blade of grass and every detail on the 18-wheeler that was heading my direction. And
So the more information that your brain is processing, the slower things seem to be happening.
you got to think about that. So is that why as you get older, time goes faster because you're not processing as much?
The experiences you're having are generally fewer new experiences. It's more
Mm,
routine. You've done it before.
mm,
You've taken that drive
hmm
100 times before. It's not a new experience.
Okay. But the other thing is that I'm kind of looking at it a slightly different way. So I'm looking at it as we need to slow down too. Like time flies because we are doing so much and we're trying to get a lot jammed in. And so we need to take a breath, take a moment. Like I can just tell you, when I say I meditate, like just for not long, like I literally set my clock for 7 minutes. 7 minutes is not a long time. But that time that I'm actually meditating seems like forever, and I'm a completely different person after I started. What you do in that time also makes a huge difference.
Okay.
Hmm.
Is that a new experience? Are you experiencing new things while you're meditating?
Well, no, you're removing things.
Well, then I guess you disagree with
I
what's his
do.
name?
I
Robert
disagree.
Ornstein, the
Well,
noted
maybe it's
brain
not that I
researcher.
don't disagree. It's just it's a matter of perspective and, looking at this several different ways.
Okay.
Right? Mm.
All right. So why do we want to slow down time? What is the goal?
Well, I mean, in our age group, where everybody's like, "Oh my God, time is going by," and everybody's saying this way, "Time is going so fast. I just want to slow it down." Our moments are getting more precious, maybe. That's sort of end of day, days lurking over your head, and people around us are leaving us and
Don't
stuff.
be a buzzkill,
I'm
Janet.
sorry, but it's true. We need to slow down a little bit. What do you think?
I think slowing down is a good idea,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't say
That doesn't mean do nothing.
no.
Right.
No.
I'm looking at this article here, and they're saying the importance of slowing down is because if we live at a constant breakneck pace, it takes a huge toll on your mental health, physical health, relationships, and productivity. So it's suggesting that it's not healthy for you to crazy, 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 crazy. Now that's different, I think, than what your guy was saying.
Well, I think there's some overlap. And the overlap is if you're going at a crazy pace, you're not really focused on any one thing
Right.
or two things. And according to the article I'm reading from Rest Less, focus on the here and now,
Yes, that's in my article too. Be present.
practice mindfulness.
That's in mine as well.
If you're
Is
going
another
at
way to say
breakneck
that.
speed,
Mm-hmm.
you're not focused on the here and now.
Right.
You're jumping ahead, you're jumping ahead, you're jumping ahead.
Right. And so in this article that I'm reading too, they were talking about pay attention to what gets your attention. So this idea of like multitasking and whatnot is, will make you feel stressed and frazzled. To your point, narrow down what it is you're paying attention to. If you're paying attention to the present moment, you really can in some way only be paying attention to that one thing.
Multitasking is a myth.
Mm.
Multitasking is really just focusing on one thing and then quickly switching to another
Changing
thing.
your
and then
focus, yeah.
quickly changing. And so you're not focused on
Right. And that's an absolute technique for meditation too. They say it's not possible to completely clear your mind, but you're taking things away. So you're going to focus on your breath. You're going to focus on, something you're looking that's 2 feet in front of you and just everything about that thing that's 2 feet in front of you. So it's just a practice that allows you to be more present and to be more focused.
You may be experiencing something that you haven't before. I rarely focus on my breath, honestly. That would be a new experience for me.
It would be. And that's a tool. It's a tool. And you can use that tool at any single moment. And it also will calm your body down, which is a trigger to your mind that you should relax. This article says, in terms of being present, take some time to identify what gets in the way of that and keeps you from being present. When you do that, it becomes easier to guard your attention so you can live in the moment. So what distracts you from maybe, being too much in the past or being too much in the future? And what can pull you back to the present? And breath work is actually one of those things that can pull you back to the present. I think that's the tie-in.
The next thing on my list, try something new. New experiences seem to pass more slowly because you're processing new information. Doing something you haven't done before, a new experience. You really have to focus more on what you're doing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I kind of think of it like, say, if you go to an art museum or something, right? You're not going to like run through the museum. You might actually stand
If
in
it's
front
modern art, I might.
You might actually stand in front of a painting.
Right.
In fact, I knew of a person who would, no, I wouldn't go to this extreme, but would pick one painting and sit there for like an hour and just look at that one painting. Talk about slowing time down, right? But I think the
Well, you're
time,
forcing yourself to process more information. You're not just glancing at it
right,
and then moving on.
running. The tie-in for me here with my article from what you just said, which try something new, says make time to have fun. The older we get, the harder it becomes to make fun a priority. We might even feel guilty for having fun, that it's a luxury. So you've got to slow down and make time to have fun. I am all for that, Joe. Like,
Absolutely.
make fun.
All
Fun
right,
is number one priority.
all right, let's make this the shortest 60 plus podcast episode ever. So stop right now and go out and have some fun. No,
This is
I
fun.
agree. Even small changes in your everyday routine
Mm-hmm.
can help with that.
Yeah.
So step outside your comfort zone, do something a little different.
I have put the cell phone away because we are addicted and we get the noise, alerts, the dings. And we want to like, oh, check. Oh my gosh. Like how often have you heard the ding across the room? You're like, oh, I better go check what that was.
I've never done that.
Yes, you have. No, that's because yours is around your neck or in your pocket all the
It's not
time.
true.
It's in your hand all the time till you're like a teenager. Yeah, they say we could possibly be on social media. You're looking at news, your emails, your texts, whatever.
They're all important.
No, they're not all important. But the thing is that the phone then takes control of our time and of our
I
life.
agree. I agree.
You got to steal that time back. So they say drive the speed limit, that you should slow down your car, that you don't have to pretend like you're a NASCAR driver, which is what I used to do. Anyway, forcing yourself to drive the speed limit, experiencing slowness on a physical level will help you to slow down mentally and emotionally. So that, I guess, would also translate into like how you walk, you go through a store. Why do I always feel like I'm in a rush? I always feel like I don't have enough time.
Really?
Yes,
That's unfortunate.
because I cram so much into a day. I'm like, oh, and then if I have like 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I can do one more thing. Then I counterbalance that with a nap. I like naps.
So many things we talk about on every episode go back to a previous episode. The importance of sleep, right?
Right.
Unwind and relieve stress by living more slowly.
Okay, so we were just talking about that. Yes.
So, adding activities such as yoga and Pilates.
There you go.
Going back to a previous
There you
episode,
go.
yoga. We've got to get Ashley back to talk about
know.
yoga again. A listener reached out to me last week and said that they're going to have a drinking game, that every time we talk about yoga, they're going to take a drink.
Well, now maybe every time we talk about yoga, do a downward dog. That would be better for
Can't
them
right
than
now.
taking a
Just can't.
drink.
Can't do it. So slow down,
Yes.
live in the present.
Slow down, live in the present, try to focus. They even say here, practice silence, which is kind of meditation, but just practicing silence. So, in other words, when you're driving slowly to work, maybe you drive with the radio off. It's funny, whenever I go into the beautiful refuge, I always turn the radio off.
I get that. That's a wildlife
This is
refuge. It's
so
peaceful
beautiful.
and calming. My advice is when you're driving that you listen to the 60 Plus podcast.
Yes. No, actually, they say drive in silence.
I know they say that, but I'm
But unless you're
I'm
listening to
refuting
the
that.
60
I'm saying
Plus podcast.
listen to the 60 Plus podcast.
Yes.
It's a great time to listen to the podcast. You can multitask. So
No, now, Joe, you've just ruined everything. Okay, so I've got one more thing here. One of the things about being busy is we never really take the time to reflect, like what's going on. So they actually recommend journaling, that it helps get into mindfulness, it slows you down, it helps you connect with yourself, it helps you give sort of insight what's going on with you. I journal. I've always journaled for a long time, but there'll be a year will go by and I'll be like, geez, I haven't written it. So they say, get into a
it's easy to journal when you only do it once a year.
Yeah, right. Well, I just do it when the mood strikes me, when I have something important to write down, I guess. So if you've never done it and it sounds like something that you might like to do, there is a great place to start called the Contentment Journal by Rachel Cruz. And it's like a 90-day journaling process will help you find peace and contentment while slowing down and enjoying life more.
Interesting. I'm
Mhm.
not a journaler. My
Mhm.
daughters are.
Mm-hmm.
They both journal. I give them new journals every year for Christmas.
Aw,
And
that's sweet.
they're very particular about the journals too.
Oh, really? Oh, geez.
Very.
Okay.
I understand why journaling might help with slowing down time, but I don't understand why people journal. I don't understand it.
Oh, well, that's because you haven't done it. Just like saying, I don't understand why people do yoga. Well, if you haven't done it, then why would you understand it?
Okay. Well,
Right?
I don't understand the motivation.
Well,
I'm not motivated to do it.
I
is
don't
my point.
understand people who climb rocks without any like ropes.
I understand it. They're,
Like,
they have a death wish.
and
That's
I'm never
why.
going to do that.
No.
I don't understand people who jump out of airplanes. Even though I thought at one point I'd like to do that, I haven't done it, so I don't understand it.
Okay. Another way to make time seem to move more slowly is
Mhm.
when you're traveling, Travel more often is one suggestion,
Yay.
but do it differently.
What do you mean?
Don't go on the tour, go exploring on your own. Or if you're
Right.
used to going on your own, go
Yep.
on a tour.
Yep.
Go off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm.
Do some activity that you haven't done before. The more information that you're processing, the slower the time
Okay. I
perception.
get that. Okay. Coupled with that, I have one here. Focus on the people in front of you. When we rush through life, we often push people to the side, friends, family, even the cashier at the grocery store. As a result, we miss out on relationship and those who are super important to us. So take some time, connect with your loved ones, look them in the eye
And it just looked me in the eye.
in a scary, creepy way.
It was a scary, creepy way. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think all these tips are really good. Can we make them part of our practice? Can we make them part of our everyday behaviors? Give it a try. That's the first step, right? Joe, maybe you should journal tonight before you go to sleep.
To decide what kind of journal to get, and then this whole
With little hearts
process.
on it.
Whole process. So I
can
get
doodle.
lined. I'm a big doodler. If you look at my notes,
I love doodling. I always have loved doodling.
this is my last tip that I've got from about how to make perceive time differently. And it's something that we talked about last week with Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Say no more often.
Yes. Yes. I have that one too. It's posed as accept your limitations. You don't have to say yes to everything. And whether those limitations are physical or mental or whatever.
Well, if you're saying no, it gives you more time to do the things that you want to say yes to.
Right.
You're not doing things that are uninteresting or that you just
But
don't want to
honestly,
do.
haven't you said yes to stuff because you felt like obligated, or you're like, if I don't say yes, you might miss out on something? Or haven't you ever been there?
Yeah.
So we can all take.
And then we started the 60 plus podcast. No. No, 33 episodes later.
It's our 33rd.
33rd episode.
Yay! I love 33.
Shanna has an affinity to the number 33.
So here's the deal: if you don't slow down, you'll miss out on a ton.
It sounds counterintuitive to say if
Mhm.
you slow down, time is going to slow down. But when you slow down, you're taking more information in. You're focusing on the present. You're
Right, and
doing
you're-
things that you want to
Yes,
do.
and you're taking time to enjoy it, to reflect on it, to be in the moment. And if you think about it, if you counted every second of your day, that's a lot of seconds. So every second is a moment.
That's
and-
true. What's your favorite part of the day?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
Favorite means one.
I can't. Oh, I love just getting into bed, just like cozying into your bed. I love my
Mhm.
bed. That's a great moment. I also love getting up and making my coffee and sitting and starting my day. That's a favorite moment.
Tomorrow, when you get up and you make your coffee, focus on the taste of the coffee, the warmth of the cup,
Okay.
your feet on the cold.
Preaching to
floor.
the choir, Joe.
All of that. That's the mindfulness.
Preaching to the choir.
There you go. All right.
But yes, I get your point. What's your favorite part of the day?
Dinner.
Okay.
I love having dinner.
Yeah. So I kind of gobble down my food. I probably should slow down a little bit more, but I do enjoy it every moment, especially when somebody cooks for me. I
Mhm.
love that.
Mhm.
So, because that's like love to me. You know what I mean? That's how my mother showed love, and cooking a special meal for somebody is just such a nice thing to do, I think.
It really is.
It really is.
Do you think it's hard to slow down the perception of time?
I don't know. I really think you have to make an effort.
Mhm.
You have to catch yourself. I read something the other day. It was about finding pleasure in every moment. I think that would that's not on our list here, but I think that would slow down. Even like washing dishes, instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna wash these dishes, you're like, oh, this water feels so cool, and whatever.
Let's
Oh,
use
this is
warm
nice and
water.
clean, and whatever. It's like take pleasure in every moment. That would also help you to be present.
Hmm?
Yeah. So maybe focusing more on the end result and the pleasure that you're getting through the process.
Okay.
I don't know, Joe. You like organizing drawers. What can I say?
In my Excel spreadsheet, I like building Excel spreadsheets, and I'm processing lots of information when
Yes, I
building those
bet you
spreadsheets.
are.
Janet, I think we've kind of covered this.
I think we did a pretty good job. So the myth is time flies as you get older. No, it doesn't.
It can if you let it.
No, it doesn't go any faster.
The perception of it. The time doesn't go any faster.
No,
we
it
know.
doesn't.
Perception,
That's why it's a myth.
if you're not doing new things, if you're not focusing on the present, if you're not doing the things that we talked about, well, time will seem to go by faster.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Just take it from us. Don't do that.
Be like Janet. All right. Well,
Anyway, and whatever you do, enjoy the moment. And I hope you have many, 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 many moments to enjoy.
all right. Until next week, I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.